Hello, welcome to another late night at the movies. I am Flashdance Michael Langerbeer.
And I'm just super fast Wolf London.
Oh, you kind of guessed. This is Flash.
Flash. Oh, savior of the universe.
Yes, so we got our little hand in watching the Flash, despite the bad press from it.
Yes, surrounding Ezra in a minute.
Yes, it certainly was. Yeah, which we won't dive too deep into.
No,
because that'll take us all day.
you've got your opinions.
Yes, you've got your opinions, but we're talking about the movie itself. Forbes. We went to see this in June.
Yep.
What did you think of it?
Okay, right, so my initial thoughts of this film, I walked away reasonably impressed with it.
Yeah.
Didn't think it was a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm not really a DC movie fan. I think they're long, they're bloated, they're boring, they're dark, gritty. Don't like them. A couple of isolated examples. I like Joker.
Yep.
I like the Batman. Anything else I could... Flash Shazam.
Flash Shazam, definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
I even enjoy the Superman films. So, Man of Steel, I really, really enjoyed. Batman vs Superman, not so much. But again, I would probably put that in the same category as Flash, where I was entertained by it. I would watch it.
I think they're all a bit too long, Mike. That's my view.
They are very long.
And that's not to say this isn't a long
going on.
This is a long film, and there's a lot going on.
Going on.
We've got a lot of ground to cover with this.
We have.
Let's talk about it. Right, so the opening gambit of the film.
Okay, so typically from... So you take your stretch from Justice League, where they've all banded together.
Right.
So we're talking about time after this now, where they're sort of working together in different parts, where they call upon each other to do certain things.
Of course.
Run by, of course, the Batman.
They've all got to have a reason for their existence.
Yes, so Batfleck kind of organises jobs for everybody. Everybody's busy, he's called upon Flash.
So we've got robbery. Flash is there to basically mop up.
Yes. Because he's fast and he can rescue many, many people. It's probably to do with maybe his maturity, his experience. Because don't forget, he is quite a new superhero if you think about it. Yeah. He's obviously the fresh egg out of them all.
Well, yeah, much how Tom Holland's Spider-Man would be to the Marvel Universe.
Exactly. Well, it's probably what they were going with, really, isn't it?
Yeah, like fledgling.
So, he's there to pop up, and he doesn't really like it because he's overshadowed by the actual superheroes.
The biggest superheroes.
Even Batman, who hasn't got any superpowers at all.
Sure.
So, yes, he rescues the babies.
The baby scene. Right, so this is where things... we start to get a couple of cracks here. The CG. Let's just talk about CG in this opening part. Terrible.
Yeah.
Really awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, it certainly was. Rescues the babies, the dog, and the woman, the nurse, midwife, whatever you want to call it.
Big old building.
Yeah,
it's coming down.
Huge building.
Obviously he can slow down time. To pre-anticipate what's going on.
Needs foods as a source of energy, which I thought was quite clever.
Diabetic superhero.
Yeah, diabetic superhero. He's a sugar. Been there before. Kind of Luke said, he's sorted. And then he decides to go after the villains, the criminals.
Yes.
In which he encounters Batman, who is chasing them down.
Yeah, that's on the bridge, isn't it? The bridge scene.
Yeah. Did he do much, the Flash? Was he just there? I don't think he actually done much, did he?
Well, I don't know. I mean, my recollection from this, obviously at this point now in August, is the Truth Band ends up in both Batman and Flash, and you've got this sort of comedic scene where Wonder Woman turns up, and they're talking the deepest, darkest secrets. And
right. The lasso, yeah. It was kind of like a part of the script, but we didn't really need it.
Yeah.
If anything, they could have made it a little bit better.
Yeah.
By thinking of stuff a bit more clever.
I mean...
Then I'm a virgin.
He encounters the girl from his past, who's now a reporter.
Yeah.
And he... we start to move into the crux of the story where, obviously, his mum dying...
Yeah, and his dad's up for conviction.
Up for trial. Yeah.
Trial, that's
it. So, obviously he's got in his mind that his dad's innocent.
Yeah.
His dad went to the supermarket. There's no CCTV footage that's showing his dad ever went there, so the alibi is null and void.
Yeah.
And he's thinking, what can he do? What on earth can he do? So he
runs
through emotion, runs and runs and runs. He just keeps running.
faster and faster and faster.
Just keeps running.
Yeah, not bumping into anything, but he's going really, really fast.
Yeah.
So fast, of which he enters this kind of
Nether realm.
Yes, that's right, where he can see different dimensions.
And we've got some more hammy CG.
CG.
Yeah.
Now, we'll talk about CG. I get it was easier to make them obvious CG.
Yeah.
So it would stop people from judging it too much.
Sure.
Like, we were meant to make it like that. We were meant to make it non-believable and non-realistic.
Sure.
What poor effort.
Well, this is where we get into the elephant in the room here, because obviously he enters this portal and there's some unknown character there.
Yeah.
Spooks him a little bit.
Which I picked up quite early in the film.
You did, yeah. You
Yeah, yeah.
already knew what was happening there. But he decides to he relents and anyway goes back to 10 years previous to this point.
Yes.
He's supposed to be of a certain age. He goes back to
He hasn't got his powers yet.
Yeah, he hasn't got his powers yet. He goes back to so let's say 2013, and he encounters an alternative version of Barry. Now, his mum's still alive. His dad's still here at this point. This is before the intruder and the manager.
Yeah, because he got the tin of tomatoes into the shopping basket, whereas Dad didn't need to leave.
That's exactly it.
So he's already alternate the past. Tried going back, but he ended up 10 years before.
Yeah. So the big
Well,
issue
should
now is that the younger Barry doesn't have his powers yet, so he can't interfere too much. But he does interfere by helping him get his powers.
Yeah.
So we've already got the time traveling Ouroboros cycle here that happens all the time, where the version that has the powers helps the version that doesn't have the powers fulfill their destiny.
Yeah. At the same time, losing his powers.
Yeah.
So at least we know how to stop the Flash.
Yeah. So we
Bit of lightning, and he's
we know
done.
that happens. But at the same time, this causes issues because there's now an alternative reality.
Yes.
So we have General Zod, who turns up on the screens.
Yes.
Obviously from a Superman universe. So like, what the hell's going on?
But Superman doesn't exist.
Superman doesn't exist here. Exactly. So they start looking for the Justice League.
Yeah.
They start looking for them. They're totally different people, totally different realities here. Some of them weren't even born. So the only way that they can think to sort this out is Batman to be their last hope.
Yeah.
And I think
Bruce Wayne exists.
Batfleck. Let's go and find Batfleck.
Yes.
But it's not Batfleck, is it?
It's not.
And
It is the greatest Batman in the history of Batman.
it's our very own Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Couldn't wait to have him on screen. This is the for any reason I was going to see this film. Number one, it was for Keaton.
Yeah.
100%. I wanted to see the nostalgia of watching Batman once again.
So we've got this old boy,
Yeah.
hobo, Bruce Wayne. We know that Alfred's long gone.
Yeah.
Naturally,
Yes.
he's an old boy. I mean, but Michael Gough was an old boy.
Yeah,
back
yeah,
then.
yeah. So he got off with it a little bit.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it's very weird.
It's
quite
a weird scene.
Weird, yeah. Well, weird in '97. But so Bruce Wayne's living almost off the grid in the Batman mansion. Fending for himself. He's stopped being Batman because Gotham didn't need him anymore.
Yes. Safe city, no longer need Batman.
So we've got all this, and we know that that he doesn't want to be a Batman anymore. He's done.
Yeah.
We have a twist in the story that then changes his mind quite quickly,
Well,
quite immaculately.
it's Zod, isn't it?
Yes. Well, yeah, it is that, and also the story between the two Barrys.
Yeah.
One Barry doesn't know what's going to happen. One does know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
The other Barry overhears. The sympathetic of course. Flash gets his powers back, or is trying to get his powers back at this point.
It's trying, but they have to get Superman at this point, don't they?
Well, yeah, and this is where they encounter, obviously, an alternative reality. It's Supergirl instead. So they all go on a mission. The Batcopter or Batplane seems to be in absolutely top condition.
Yeah, we mentioned that with the oil change.
Yeah.
Like, oh, C's up.
At least not.
Yeah.
You know, come on, Michael. At least
Started up, straight away.
Yeah, that's it.
Come on, what are you building here?
Can't maintain his house.
Maybe you should go into building cars instead, because he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, can't maintain house, maintains a vehicle, so in the Batcave. So yeah, they go off to find Supergirl, or who they think is Superman, they find Supergirl. She almost gets a slight affinity with Barry because he saved her, did the right thing, and they realise they're unable to change their fates. So we get a big battle scene going on, more hammy CG.
Yes, it was. Oh, it was such a mess. It was such a mess. We're talking about Keaton, who we love in the first and only 2 films that he was in, where he fought people with no powers. He fought criminals.
This is an absolutely perfect point.
Yes.
Right, Keaton's Batman, in those 2 Batman films, we didn't have CG.
No.
We didn't have ultra surrealism with how these stories plays out. We didn't have Superman that sort of invaded the Batman universe.
There was nobody with powers in this world of Keaton.
Yeah.
You know, and for his involvement in this, it wasn't quite up to scratch.
Yeah, it almost fell a little bit flat, didn't it?
It
was great to see Keaton's Batman.
Lovely.
But there was almost...
fight moves are outstanding from him, I must say.
Yeah.
It's the best I've ever seen in a Batman film.
But there's obviously the age and experience that he has there. But this slight detachment from this amount of time in film technology moving on, I felt that it was very difficult for me to get back into the fact that, we've got Keaton's Batman back, rather than creating his own story.
Yeah.
So we've got all this nonsense with the film doing U-turn where really they can't prevent what's going to happen anyway.
Just keeps looping.
Barry's made a massive mistake.
Yeah.
Other Barry's now getting a bit too big for his own boots.
Yeah. So no, we can keep doing this, and he keeps trying and trying and trying.
Which then leads into the third quarter of the film.
Yeah.
Where we are with this. Supergirl shoehorned in, Zod is shoehorned in. How on earth would Keaton's Batman even know who Zod is?
No.
Like who the hell's this clown?
Yeah.
You know, it's not the clowns I've been dealing with. I mean, it's just Jack Nicholson.
Exactly that.
So almost a film, again, moving to the Ouroboros cycle of time travel, that it has to come back around and then break off from this cycle and say, oh, hang on a minute, maybe this wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, because so we got the alternate Flash. He was like, that's it. This world's done. You know, this universe is done. We can't save it, sort of thing. You need to go back to your universe. And then we started seeing the close encounters from all the other universes. So we're seeing... This is where the rubbish CGI comes in, which they did on purpose to save themselves from the backlash of people saying, what awful CGI. So no, it's meant to be like that. So we're seeing all the different... We're seeing Reeves. We're seeing Supergirl from the TV show.
Seeing very early version of Superman.
Yeah.
We're seeing a surprising cameo of a Superman.
Yeah. Nick Cage.
Nick Cage,
didn't see Dean Cain, did we?
Dean Cain. Where was Dean Cain? Where was Dean Cain?
That would have been a little bit better.
Where was Tom Welling?
Yeah.
You know, where were those?
Yeah.
For a certain generation of moviegoers, you remember at least Dean Cain or Tom Welling, depending on what generation you are.
But in my mind, where I was thinking, okay, so that they got Nick Cage, who's never going to be Superman. They got Christopher Reeve, who can obviously never be Superman again.
Yeah.
They're showing these ones for maybe the purpose that people like Dean Cain or Smallville, what was his name?
Tom Welling.
Tom Welling. Maybe they'll bring him back.
No, I think a lot of this was the whole. I think reading between the lines, the whole reason why they even put Nick Cage in there is obviously the fallout the studio had with Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Which was the obvious choice for having a Superman cameo, but also Brendan Ruth back in the day from 2006. He wasn't there.
No.
Why was he not there? These are all ones that have been in more recent history. Nick Cage's Superman never got off the ground.
No.
It was a pipe dream. It never happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a real kick in the gut for those that were willing enough to support this movie, despite all the controversies that were surrounding the cast, and let alone all the reshoots that this film had to go through.
Didn't even see multiple Batmans either.
We didn't see multiple Batmans. Well, we did. Yeah, we did at the end, didn't we?
Yeah.
And personally, I wasn't against seeing our boy Clooney at the end.
No, to be honest, now that I think about it, it was kind of nice to see that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe give him a second chance.
Yeah, I mean, I was never really against Clooney's Batman in particular.
No.
Yes, the Batman Robin whole fiasco. Many people have different opinions on this. I didn't mind Batman Robin, but then I was 10 years old when it came out. So I'm more sympathetic to the cause of that film. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah, but Clooney might get his redemption of actually being in a good Batman film now. If he has a bit of action. But I feel like Batfleck, because he didn't actually get his own Batman film.
No.
So that's a little bit of a shame for me.
Well, this is the big thing, isn't it? Is that we're looking at these characters that don't really get their own film. You're right, Batfleck doesn't get his own Batman film. So we can't really throw much weight behind Ben Affleck as the Batman character because he plays second fiddle to the other characters on the screen.
Yeah.
We've got now George Clooney probably wouldn't be continued in any further stories because The Flash has done so ridiculously poor at the box office.
Yeah, I think they're going to bury that one.
I think they're going to bury that one. But in my view, like taking the best part of this film, which for us as 30-somethings, Keaton is the reason why we went to see this film.
Yes.
Obviously, yes, I can't stress enough the controversies surrounding Ezra Miller don't factor into the reason why we went to this film. We went to this film to see Keaton on the screen.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
And in my view, if they concentrated on making a Michael Keaton Batman Beyond film, would have made more sense than making
it would have been awesome. It would have been awesome. You know, I get, you know, bringing them back for this sort of storyline. I get it. I feel that he should have stopped after saving Supergirl.
Yeah.
And he should have stepped out of saving the world from Zod.
Sure.
Leave that to the ones of powers.
Everything's too tooled up for what he was used to as a Batman. And this is not the world that he would have been.
He's got rope.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's mere mortal, isn't he?
Yes.
But you've got all of this going on. I'd like the Supergirl. I thought she was well cast.
Yeah, actually, I was really, really surprised.
Yeah, good casting. But again, it's shoehorning too many ideas into a runtime of just under 3 hours.
Yeah.
And could you have split this up into different movies? I think you probably could have.
Yeah.
This film had a huge budget as it was anyway, wasn't it? What, 250 million?
Budget of between 220.
So taking into account reshoots and things that they needed to do, we have our own Jason Momoa turning up as Anchorman at the end of the film.
Yes, very, very true. I think they're just going to hold on to Jason Momoa a bit longer now to carry on their DC universe, but I think they officially killed off everybody else.
Yeah.
Superman, Batman, Flash.
I think there's real turmoil in DC.
Yeah.
Real turmoil, and I think if they think Anchorman 2 is going to bring back the DC universe, I think they're sadly mistaken. Because we've got the same problems with Amber Heard that you did with Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
You've got controversies surrounding the actors, and if the studio's going to stand behind these actors where the public don't, they're not going to see the films. It's simple as that.
That's it.
So, in my view, the efforts that should have been made with this film is reshooting it as a Batman film, taking Keaton's bits. We can make an older Batman Beyond, Batman in the future. Do it that
they
way.
can do even the alternate universe where the Flash didn't happen in this universe as well.
Yeah, you could have erased a whole timeline here.
Yes,
and started again. Raise it to the ground and rebuild from what you've got. And I mean, I think a lot of the reaction from audiences reflects in the box office of this. I mean, what we're talking, 265 mil?
So we're a month into it now,
and it's not in cinema anymore.
It's not in cinema anymore.
Video on demand.
So it looks like by Wikipedia page anyway, we're stuck at 268 million.
Right.
So the head's just above water.
Yeah.
They're just getting enough oxygen now to say, Thank God.
Yeah, and I think the film stood to lose Warner Brothers 200 million.
Yeah.
As a consolidated loss. Once we take into account the video on demand sell through, it might very well be less than that. But one interesting fact is that where we've covered Barbie in one of our episodes,
Yes.
that film actually stands significance to this film in the fact that it's made Warner Brothers back the money they lost.
Yeah.
Through
And they're probably thinking now, right, let's get some toys and start making some films again.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll look at DC and go, where are we going with this?
Exactly. I think they need to just step back.
Yeah.
Are we getting superhero movie fatigue? Is it the case of the controversy surrounding the actors? Is it the fact that most people just thought it was too long a film? It's too inflated.
It's battling too much with Marvel. Marvel is on that steady ground where they just bring out Marvel film after Marvel film.
Just though.
Yeah. But DC is never really been like that before. So why are they getting into it now? Because now they're proving that after making a good film, it comes out a shitter film after that.
Yes.
And it just gets shitted by the day.
Yeah. Shit about a dozen. So.
Yeah, it does. We've always looked up to DC. We've always enjoyed the movies.
Yeah.
But now the more they're making them, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing with this?
Yeah.
Where are we going? Are we going to have another Justice League? How are we going to do this?
Is it worth at this point now looking at Nolan's Batman trilogy and going with more grounded effects, going with more grounded villains, more realism for the villains? It worked for the Batman.
Yeah.
It's worked for Joker.
Yeah.
And I think that they're going to really shit the bed when it comes to Joker Folie à Deux. I just have a feeling that this is not what the public are going to want. They should have left that as a solo film. But we'll see. That's a future episode.
That is a future episode indeed. The Batman's has always been a success because of realism behind it.
Yeah.
Always has been. Even the Batman.
Yeah. Which took at the box office 700 million.
Yes. Yeah, certainly. Great film. And it's great how it can take us away from Nolan and the Tim Burton's. It's on a different level. Stop at that.
Yeah. Let's not go with Joel Schumacher's one, but all right, yeah.
No, let's not. Should there be a Batfleck film? I think so. It's a shame for them not to have it. But the way they're going, it might be a bad idea.
I think it's dead in the water.
Yeah. I think they're done.
Yeah.
So, with The Flash, would I see it again? Yes.
Yeah, I would.
Would I have it on DVD? Yeah, I'll have it in my collection.
What would you rate out of 10?
I'll rate it. I'm going to be very surprising to myself. I'll rate the whole thing a 6 out of 10.
It's like you read my mind.
I'll rate Keaton 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I would give the film in its entirety 6 out of 10, absolutely. Yeah. And that, I think, is particularly generous because of Keaton. Yeah. And Keaton saves the film. Yeah,
so I definitely recommend, if you haven't, definitely watch it. Definitely express your opinions on it. It's worth having in your video log, in your mind, of watching a film like this, especially if you're into the DCs. And then treat yourself after by a Nolan trilogy. Just to get back to...
grounded into the days when things were good.
Exactly.
Right, friends, until next time.
Thank you very much.
Ta-ra.